Hello, welcome to What the Flick. We're all here. It's a big day because there's a 5-minute movie that we all saw. We're going to tell you about it. It is called Dear Basketball. It was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short, and it's about Kobe Bryant. And Matt's going to tell us about it.
Yes, I was really disappointed that this was not about deer playing basketball. Nonetheless, this is still a really, really good animated film. Last year when Kobe retired, or I'm sorry, when his jersey was retired at the Lakers, he had written a poem that was on the Players Tribune. He teamed up with animator Glenn Keane, who had worked on Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and The Little Mermaid as a character animator, and they put together a visualization of the poem that Kobe had written. It's a little over 5 minutes. It's terrific, really raw style of animation, and it kind of blends Kobe, as the poem does, Kobe's dreams of growing up to play basketball and him as an adult playing at the top of his game. Let's watch a trailer.
I'll always be that kid with the rolled up socks, garbage can in the corner, 5 seconds on the clock, ball in my hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think it was, by the way, I think it was this year.
Was it?
This season. It was, well, you're right. It was
last year.
2017.
Because it would have been nominated for a 2018 Oscar.
Yeah, I was thinking last year.
Anyway.
I was thinking basketball season. Anyway.
Kobe retired.
Yeah.
It was a big deal in LA. Does this movie make him likable? I don't know that likable or accessible or
I don't know that that's its goal necessarily.
I think it is. I think it makes us. It wants us to love him and relate to his childhood dreams. I think.
Yeah, I don't. You know, let's. I mean, I don't know if I'm even permitted to say this. Let's leave out the scandal for a minute, and if you just
the Academy did apparently.
Just right, right as you pointed out.
James Franco didn't get a nomination, but Kobe Bryant has one. Yeah.
So. And I want to talk about the James Franco thing momentarily, but Kobe had a difficult issue separate from that, of course, as far as just being liked, the perception that he was a selfish player, that he didn't elevate his teammates,
and he blamed them.
And I hated Kobe for most of it. I mean, hated the way sports fans hate. Right. It wasn't real hate, right?
Either you love him or you hate him.
And I don't like the Lakers, and I thought the sense of entitlement that LA fans had about the Lakers. Like, hey man, sometimes your team's not good. Like it just, that happens. So, but then what do you know? And he comes back from the injury, and I did the thing that inevitably happens, is then he became an old guy, a warrior, sort of persevering. And then you start reading stuff, and I'm like, he was pretty good. And he did sort of elevate his teammates, and somebody motivating their teammates to be better maybe isn't so bad. And I sort of started liking Kobe and hating myself for it.
You evolved.
Right, I transferred the hate.
So reason number 561 that Ben Mankiewicz hates himself.
Right, so I don't know.
He became a Kobe fan.
I thought that this had I liked this very much, but I didn't think of it as something that would make you like Kobe. I thought it was something that made you, that was honest about Kobe, that that at times it seems like it's difficult for him to have a conversation that isn't about Kobe.
I was gonna say, I mean, I liked the film. I think it's beautifully animated, but to me, it was more like an ad for Kobe.
That's right.
Kobe's ode to himself.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily trying to make us like him as much as I think admire his achievements and his skill and his drive, and the fact that he's wanted to be where he is for so much of his life, as a child, dreaming about basketball, I mean, I am not a sports fan, and I'm super cynical about the whole process of like professional athletics and what it does to people and what it does to all the people who aren't Kobe Bryant, and all the people who don't even get that far, and there's a lot of shattered lives on the way to making one Kobe Bryant. But
profound.
But I think if just looking at it as a film, I love the style of it. This very sort of simple kind of pencil animation. The only color that you see in the film is purple and gold, which are the Lakers team colors.
So you know that much?
Well, thanks to the film. No, I knew
and you
that
live
much.
in LA.
I saw Fletch. And then, John Williams.
10, Fletch gets a 10.
John Williams did the score. Like, I mean, it's beautifully put together. I'm sure there are a lot of animators who like busted their humps on a 100th of a budget of this thing. They're like, oh, they got a nomination. That's How nice for you. But you know, and it's the only one of the animated shorts I've seen, so I can't even judge it in that respect. But as somebody who gives zero shits about basketball, I thought it was beautifully put together.
There's a thing that you know, look, it's a 5-minute short, and I think it's very good, and I'm totally amused that the Oscars still do this and give this award on national television, on primetime, on a broadcast network. But you know, there wasn't a moment about it. Again, it did feel like a commercial, an excellent commercial. But that moment where you're like, you know, there's no moment of him as a father talking to his kids about effort. Like, it's just him saying that I worked hard, but it's just his story. We don't know that that's the case, or that
he's talking about teamwork.
Right. There's no suggestion that he learned something that he is now passing on. There is, which again, little things that would humanize him, and he is not a terribly human figure. Based literally on, as an example, the way I felt about him, where I hated him and then loved him, right? You know, that either way, there are extremes. And of course, the real Kobe lives in the middle somewhere, and he is a father, and and there were moments where things didn't go well, and there were defeats, and there was Shaq and losing, and maybe driving a teammate away, and maybe driving a coach away, and then coming back again. Right. So
has it already been a 30 for 30? Because that sounds like it would all be in the 30 for 30.
Yeah. So
we're no longer in animated short territory here. Now we are in animated feature territory.
I got it, but I mean, even if there was, I'm not saying they should have redone it. I'm just saying what's missing is a sense of Kobe that isn't just this arc that we already know.
Complexity to him, yeah.
Right, but that's not what it's supposed to do, right? Like, this is a visualization of a poem he wrote that is his take on the sport that look, I think a guy like Kobe at that level, there's a lot of people who have talent, but or raw ability, but I think when you get to someone like a Kobe who becomes a one-word household name, that many times comes with an obsession almost, right? Like, you don't get to be Kobe without being obsessed with basketball, right? Like, and so I think what this animated short does is gives you a glimpse of how he feels about it from when he was a kid, and as it says, he's still that kid playing basketball, right? That's a laser focus, and to the point that I actually think it's a plus for what this does, that it doesn't show him as a father. It doesn't show him.
Let's leave out father. I'll concede that. There were, like, in the basketball world that again, there's the things that went wrong, and there were profound moments that went wrong with Shaq and with Phil Jackson and losing, and then there's a little bit of the injury, but it's essentially just that his body sort of
he's old.
He's old.
I really liked that.
Right,
though,
and I thought
that was cool.
And how they depict that was kind of cool.
Right, and kind of like that raw. It felt like it was rotoscoped in certain places, and I love the story that Kobe had cold called John Williams to get him to do the score. Right,
it's funny. Alonso and I were kidding. I just made it up. I was like, "Wow, I guess if you're Kobe Bryant, John Williams calls you back." And so that turns out that's literally what happened.
Pretty much. Pretty much. No, I was really impressed with this, and could it be a little bit deeper? Sure, but as a execution of the poem that Kobe wrote himself about his take on it, and leaves all of the other catastrophes out of it, I think it's as good as you can get.
He's a compelling sports fan. He was so good. He was so good.
And it's no shallower than any of the 5-minute bios we're going to be seeing during the Winter Olympics about she got up at 4 o'clock every day to ice skate.
Right. They're not making an animated movie like this about Larry Nassar.
Boo, too soon. One thing though that does humanize him and is relatable is the whole idea of, like, you're a little kid in your room pretending that the buzzers.
Totally. Yeah.
What's the word I'm thinking of?
5 seconds.
Yeah. There's a word in my mind and I can't think of. Anyway, just the idea, 5, 4, 3, 2, and every kid does that, and the idea that still, like, that seed of that love of the sport still drives him does seem
There's so many times
relatable.
when you have it, whether it's with a Nerf ball or whether it's your roll-up sock and you're counting down 5, 4.
Every kid does that.
I did it 10,000 times.
Yeah, so
but the great thing is you count it down
and sank it once.
No, you keep missing, so you just have to keep redoing it.
Yeah.
You know, 8,
And
7,
5.
and 5, and action.
Yeah, it's really pretty, but it looks like it's like rough hewn, but also really complicated. Like, what is it called when they're making animated films and it's like just the sketch drawing of what it's supposed to eventually be? You know what I'm talking about? When you see an early kind of animated film, and it's like charcoal pencil drawings. It looks like
Animatic.
Thank you,
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Animatic.
So it looks like that, but like way more fluid and like flowing and complicated. It's really, really pretty, and it does a lot very efficiently, and it's 5 minute and 20-second running time. So if you just Google Deer Basketball, you can go
we
watch
have now
it yourself.
spoken longer than
We have. That is true. We have. Anyway, so I don't know that it deserves an Academy Award nomination, but I think it's kind of interesting that now Kobe is, for all of eternity, Academy Award nominee Kobe Bryant. So
Yeah,
I
mentioned that here, and somebody's like, "Yeah, that's all Kobe needs, more for his
Right?
ego." It's like,
He'll be at the Oscars.
He's almost, yeah, he will. I cannot imagine that he would not come to the
sure, of
Oscars.
course, yeah.
He's so close to an EGOT. He's getting closer every day. So my number's a 7.
A 7.5. You know, I think it's beautifully animated, and I was engaged as somebody who was not interested in the subject.
8.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. Matt suggested that we all give it 24s, and so we compromised.
But they've retired that number, so we can't give it.
They retired both. They got both his
He
numbers
has two.
retired.
Wait, I
8
can't
and
give
24.
When you go to Staples.
Yeah, you can't get 8
They are
anymore
both
either.
there. 7.6 is our number, and there's no tomato meter number because this is a short. But yeah, if you just Google Deer Basketball, you can watch it in the comfort of your own home. Bye.